Hello, everyone. Welcome to our workshop on upskilling for social entrepreneurs. I'm happy to see you all, and especially I welcome our colleagues from our sister projects from URBiNAT, proGIreg, Clever Cities, and FoodE. I hope you can see now the presentation in the correct mode, and we start right away. Yes, this is a presentation that we worked together in the EdiCitNet project, and maybe my colleagues Stephanie and Marisa can say hi shortly, and also my colleagues from Nabolax Laura and Alexandra from Border Step. They are also part of this workshop and will guide us and help us with technical issues and moderation, etc. EdiCitNet is a project which is dealing with edible city solutions. Many of you know this, but as we will also share the meeting, the workshop with a broader audience, I have some slides prepared as an introduction. My name is Ina Säumel. I'm from Humboldt University and coordinator of the EdiCitNet project. Today we talk about social entrepreneurs, and maybe it's good to have first an agreement on the definition what social entrepreneurs are. You can see on the left side there are many definitions, and actually there's no agreement in the scientific society, but also in practice, what a social entrepreneur is. I will shortly provide some of the definitions that are existing. Maybe a nice one is this one, the first one, that social entrepreneurs have powerful ideas for tackling current problems, and they are unwilling or unable to rest until they have been spread their ideas society-wide globally. So this is one definition. Another one coming from NBS projects of the European Commission is that social entrepreneurship defines organizations or initiatives that by producing or transacting goods or services seek for new solutions to persistent social problems and thus generating high social value. This is also a definition. And another one, social entrepreneurs run businesses whose goal include not only profit making, but also achievement of social objectives. So in this, let's say, the sea of different definitions, we have a continuity between organizations that are looking for poor charity and others that make more profit maximization as their main goal. And you can see there are many organizations and initiatives that can be characterized by these different stages. So we talk about social entrepreneurs that at least not only focus on profit maximization, where the social mission, the charity effects are more important. And the others are commercial companies, partially also having a socially responsible profit maximization, however. So I think that we will we don't enter more in these definitions, but maybe our colleagues will also have some reflections on this. What we have today in our agenda is that we'll have presentations from the different projects that are here in this workshop. And then we come to a discussion part where we can go into different breakout rooms and we can discuss certain aspects. So shortly, for those that do not know nothing about EdiCitNet, we want to scale edible city solutions in our project to unlock the potential of these solutions for development of socially inclusive, biodiversity-friendly, resilient, and healthy cities. We think that edible city solutions are nature-based solutions that deepen the social dimension of nature-based solutions in a special way. And what is important in this social entrepreneurship work stream of our project is that edible city solutions create, of course, green jobs and always closely related to the citizens, and therefore also proactively change the urban environment to their benefits, to the benefits of the citizens, and to induce a paradigm shift of lifestyle. Edible city solutions, shortly for us, are edible nature-based solutions. And here we have not only the gardens and the indoor farming, we have all types of urban food production, distribution, and consumption in our portfolio. What we aim on is that edible city solutions use innovative principles of ecological design, closed material and energy flows in their production modes. And so not everything what is edible in the city and is placed in a city is in our portfolio. We have many cities on board in our project, spread over the world. You see here our the green ones are the cities where we have living labs, and our work stream on scaling social entrepreneurship is mainly based on these cities and initiatives within these cities in and around our living labs. This looks quite different depending on city and living lab. Here you can see some impressions, and for more details, you can check out some of our publications. All are on our website, and we will also share this presentation later, so you can have this information. And yeah, ask us and contact us and our colleagues to know more about this. Today, we want to highlight again our approach on scaling. We use 5 different scaling pathways, which we are happy to discuss with you. There's one which is the classical scaling up, which means we try to reach more people with the same edible city solution activities. There's scaling wide. There we replicate the activities in new geographic areas. And then scaling across, where novel edible city solutions are started in a new domain. And scaling deep, which aims on an improvement of an existing edible city solution for the target groups. And scaling soft, where we combine all the activities regarding networking, building alliances, advocacy, and dissemination of edible city solution knowledge. This is also something that we already presented in a previous workshop, so I don't want to go more in deep in this direction, but there's a lot of literature already published on this, and we are also happy to discuss this with you. What we want to focus today is that we are currently working on the identification of constraints and challenges for advancing edible city solution initiatives or urban food initiatives. And we are looking for methodologies and formats for successful edible city scaling. To analyze this and explore this, we have used a mixed method approach, and actually we are continuing working on this. So it's more progress, work in progress. what we are discussing today. Of course, we studied a lot of literature, we did workshops, we did one-to-one business consultancy with initiatives, and we did a wide range of interviews with initiatives in and around our living labs. Currently, we have something like more than 70 semi-structured interviews with urban food initiatives. And we want to share some first insights with you in this time slot of our project in this workshop. Oops. Oh, sorry. No, yeah. So one important phenomenon that we realized when we were asking for the main value that an initiative is aiming on or producing, that in the triangle of sustainability, the economic dimension is very often neglected by the initiatives themselves. And there's an ambivalent let's say, perception of this economic issue. So this is often related also to economic fragility and self-exploitation. So what we are discussing with the initiatives is how to become a self-caring entrepreneur, not doing good, being social for the others, but also being social to their own people, to the volunteers, to their own staff. And we observed a certain, let's say, resistance to develop own sustainable business models. Yeah, it's an ongoing discussion how to open eyes in this direction. And even the very successful initiatives, they are focusing on these sustainable business models and are using this. We also developed in the project different tools to tackle this issue, to make values visible. Here, for example, you can use the diamond model user guides on our website, developed mainly from the University Wageningen, from Alice Bischoff and colleagues. And we tested also this, this tool within our living labs and with different initiatives, urban food initiatives. And we have the playbook on urban agriculture, growing jobs in urban agriculture, where you can find also an adipose city solution canvas developed by our colleagues Johanna Reddy and Alexander Schabel and other colleagues from Labolaxhager. So they are also here, so you can ask also on this in the discussion round. And we provide peer one-to-one consultancy. And yeah, this is maybe what we can go deeper into the discussion later on. What we also observed in our conversations with the initiatives is that there is the so-called the project funding trap, which is really an issue due to the nature of project funding. As an example, we have short-term funding, which mismatch often with long-term goals of the initiatives. We have different experiences with professionalization of funding acquisition. Some of our initiatives started to use professional funding acquisition, subcontracted this, and they have been partly successful, but later on this knowledge on funding acquisition didn't stay in the initiatives, and finally it's of course an individual decision, but maybe it's better to really develop somebody in the team or a group in the team that do this funding acquisition as a main job. And this is normally not funded. So this is also an issue which is related to the project funding trap. Then we observed limited funding schemes and bureaucracy, and of course also this generates dependence on funders and their schemes, and of course their political framing. So what we observed in initiatives that are really successful is to diversify funding resources, yes, and not only to professionalize the acquisition themselves, but also to diversify this, and at the end also become more independent from external funds and create own funds or own income related to the former business model. And another issue it also is crucial, and we would like to discuss this with you, how social or unsocial are social entrepreneurs with their own stuff. This is an ongoing problem in almost all our initiatives. So as a result, we have self-exploitation, and we have a lot of personal fluctuation, which we also experienced even in our project. And there is an ongoing discussion to come from volunteering to just wages in the initiatives and take more care for your people. So this is really important to work on this. What is also an important aspect is that networking and doing advocacy is key, and don't work alone, and see not only other initiatives as partners, also the whole community of practice and knowledge as partners. So the idea is never walk alone, and be aware and connect with others, with other actors, also political actors at local and regional level. And the initiatives that are successful so far are really good connected, are in different networking and communities, and inform about the goals, achievement, and needs, and join forces with others. So there's a strength in numbers, which is often underused or underexploited by the initiatives. So this is so far a short first insight from EdiCitNet, and so I would like to handle over, I don't see you all, to Beatriz. I've seen Beatriz, yes. I will stop sharing, and then Beatriz, you could start with your presentation, and then we handle over to the colleagues from proGIreg. Yeah, I stop, and Beatriz, you can share.
Yeah, thank you, Ina. I will share my screen 1 minute, please. Maybe. Can you see my screen? Is it okay? Okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity and the invitation to URBiNAT to participate in this workshop. It's the second time that URBiNAT is here. So for us, it's a pleasure also to take part in this process together. So thank you so much. My name is Beatriz. I'm a member of URBiNAT project. So in fact, I researched at CES, Center for Social Studies from Portugal. And CES is the coordinator of URBiNAT project that is in implementation process since 2018. This year is our last year in terms of project implementation. So I think I will put in the presentation mode. I think it's better. Is it okay? Can you? I don't know if you see.
Not yet, but it comes. It looks like that it comes. Yes.
So I will try again, because sometimes my computer have a trouble.
Yeah, but maybe only we wait. Yeah, now we see it. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So for today, so we are not working exactly on the social entrepreneurship issues, but to have worked with the solidarity economy. So for today, my proposal, because I think solidarity economy and social entrepreneurship is part of the same umbrella in terms of theoretical approach and conceptualization. So our suggestion for today is to discuss some aspects related to social and solidarity economy that URBiNAT including in its proposing in the URBiNAT proposal, and also to discuss or to present some aspects related to the upscaling process associated to local advisory board that is part of our task 5.5. But before to start the solidarity economy discussion, I would like to just to establish some difference between the terminologies, because in fact, of course, it's part of the same umbrella, but there is some aspects that are different between what is solidarity economy and what is social entrepreneurship. And I think it is relevant to establish or to clarify this difference. First of all, in terms of agenda, so solidarity economy have a specific focus on citizens organized in collectivities, and for the other side, social entrepreneurship may be more focused on individuals, but of sometimes collectivities being supported by institutions in this relation with the institutions and or the formal arrangements. That's not occur in the same way in case of solidarity economy. The other one is the goals to build autonomy and foster a chance to make communities more conscious of their own rights, constituting a popular response to reduce social vulnerability. That is a central focus in terms of produce income and produce other economic opportunities, in particular for communities in social vulnerability situation. In terms of social entrepreneurship, more focus on to solve social issues. I think Ina already comments this particular focus on social issues and social problems through a market-based model of efficiency. And the other one, the market perspective, the minimal connection, market criteria are in the hot seat within the solidarity economy discussion, and for social entrepreneurship, goods and services should be suited to market needs. So just to share some very general aspects, but that represent the difference between both terminologies. So the URBiNAT is focused on the health corridor, is a public space, both material and immaterial, that connects and links neighborhoods as a pathway and assess as a social, cultural, educational platform. It integrates not only nature-based solutions, but also human-centered ones, providing a double effect on the environment and the people's health and well-being. We are working in 3 front-runner cities. At the moment, we are in the co-implementation phase to implement the health corridor in Porto, Nantes, and Sofia. In Porto, the health corridor have this perspective in between 3 different neighborhoods. In Nantes, the health corridor pathway, the proposal is around different neighborhoods, and Sofia across neighborhoods. We consider for each front-runner cities a set of nature-based solutions based on public space and nature, education and environment, culture and sport, socioeconomic and solidarity practices that we will discuss briefly today, and also physical activities and the sport, cultural aspects, and climate adaptation. And for each corridor, of course, we are working on a cluster of nature-based solution, and each corridor have a different cluster of nature-based solution accordingly their context, and accordingly particularities that has part of each community, each neighborhood. So we have 4 typologies in terms of nature-based solutions. As you know, I think some colleagues already know this perspective of URBiNAT to propose 4 different typologies of that is part of our catalog. So some nature-based solution based on territorial aspects, other nature-based solutions more focused on technological tools and the techniques, And what is the innovation perspective of the URBiNAT project is the participatory dimension as part of the network-based solution, and also the solidarity dimension also is part of the network-based solution. Indeed, the solidarity dimension is based on the solidarity economy and social economy. So for this particular specific dimension, we have a set of solutions. One of that is the solidarity markets for children, for example, and also, community social currencies that focused on the integration of community, also in the local economical commercial structure of the neighborhood, the local currencies for natural, based on waste management for the different, and based on the waste management and the engagement of schools, for example, for pedagogical formation and pedagogical experience of the children, how to use the local currencies for nature purpose. Also, Tem Bank, based on the sharing possibility to services and the other kinds, but here the focus is to the possibility to sharing knowledge and the services between different participants of the Time Bank activities, and farmers markets network and bread houses network based on art, and a cooperative for the production of the bread with the community. So this is a set of course, solutions that are part of our catalog and also represent the solidarity economy with a very central way in the project. So these solutions, you take in consideration as the solidarity economy as a principle based on different economic logic, where profit and accumulation are not the ultimate goals, but the consumption and production are instead adopted to the public interest. For us, the solidarity economy offers sustainable goods and services and takes explicit care in the ecological balance within the immediate environment, but also solidarity economy in a nature-based solution perspective also contributes to the socio-economic adaptive capacity of nature-based solutions. So we have two different lines to explain or to explain the theoretical supports of the solidarity economy and its relation with nature-based solutions. For one, the first perspective is the social economy. It's the idea of plural economy perspective, pluralist approach relevant in both in America. Social economy adopts the plural economy perspective to talk about companies, solidarity economy on the plurality of economic principles. The other perspective or the other line that you have in consideration in this discussion is the plurality of economic principles based on solidarity economy conceptualization. Differences between a pole more focused on the volume of activities for the perspective of social economy and another on more concerned with socio-political dimensions, the solidarity economy. It might be said that the expression social and solidarity economy subordinates this divergence to the existence of a fundamental convergence in the more general relationship of force. But is explicit engagement of social solidarity economy in nature-based solution an opportunity to expand the economic and socio-political impact of nature-based solution? In the perspective of URBiNAT, yes, and you have 4 different topics that we have explored in terms of impacts of NBS. In our view, the social solidarity economy is stimulating a fair and more diversified perspective of the consumption of the public space, also create initiatives that value intergenerational conviviality and different forms of knowledge, fostering forms of exchange and mutual help between neighborhoods neighbors, and engaging residents to participate more actively in the issues that affect their territory and everyday life. The systematization that you are proposing is the impacts of nature-based solution on local economic fabric and the equity benefits, the impacts of nature-based solution on respecting public space and human-nature interdependence, the impacts of nature-based solution on community empowerment and democratic management, and also on culture and political tradition. So the solidarity economy have produced different influence and reinforce these different impacts on nature-based solutions. In Porto, you have a community gardens. As you know, the proposed implementation of a community-driven management model based on the sharing knowledge of ecological practices and resource among users, that this community garden is part of the health corridor in Porto case. Everyone can enjoy the space equally without payment, and collective decision-making process was adopted by the citizen participants, and citizens suggested something. The start point of this community garden was the citizens suggested something that is communitarian, in the sense that the community can be better feed itself. The other activity, or the other initiative that is in implementation in Porto, also the solidarity markets. The camp market is a strategy, the solidarity market is a strategy of space for sharing, space affair, effectively, that different producers are invited to participate. Green Outdoor Space, that is part of the Lagartixa Park Association, is the space where the solidarity economy occur. Economic inclusion, people from the craft and organic farming areas were invited to participate. Also, a particular aspect of the Caitana, because the parish is the most social housing in Porto, and there are still social difficulties in this region in terms of number of families, for example, that live with different social benefits. So that's the opportunity to participate in the solidarity economy. Solidarity market is also opportunity to improve their condition, improve and to amplify the possibility to the commercialization of different products. Also have some local association. He is the entrepreneur, Nuno, that is the responsible for the Soalheira Association, non-profit association that operating for over 2.5 years, focus on community garden, shared by several community members. The main activity that this association is produced to be supportive and consume the things that are produced, focus on this community garden proposal. Also, waving cooperative that produce the production of natural wool carpets. So a cooperative that supports the immigration integration too, and also the possibility of people who participate being able to work from home and earn the same as the founders of the project. That is the perspective of the Carolina. The Carolina is the entrepreneur of this cooperative. And also cake design and color chocolate, that the entrepreneur is Eugenia, and she's responsible to produce this, the work with sweets and chocolates and participate in different fairs. And also the proposal is to contribute to helping the neediest people through school materials, bedding and food, and offers production supplies to Scots. This is kind of activities that Eugenia is implementing in Porto. So this is a list of other participants of the camp marketing of this solidarity market that produce different, that offer different producers and services, and also to create a common products together with different participants and member of solidarity economy. So maybe just to reinforce this idea of that the solidarity economy can contribute with the governance structure through the job creation, economic value, and the social value. We have the Marcel Manifest that is proposed to considering more investment in the network positive economy and the creation of job, also the job in a particular perspective of social justice and inclusion, given pre-existing inequalities, and also the acceleration of the just transitions. So in terms of solidarity economy, the perspective of URBiNAT, we believe that the solidarity economy might contribute to engage in cities in the shoes of public interest, raise the level of community participation. Local authorities have been more and more invited to increase the civil society engagement, also bringing new opportunities for community to reflect and act their social issues, invigorating new and inclusive forms of consuming in the public space, and also promotes this intergenerational conviviality and welcomes the diversity, provide a better setting for some public policies implementation. Finally, just to highlight the two aspects of this upscaling, so we have worked with the municipal committees. These municipal committees also promote the solidarity economy. In case of the Porto, one specific group of subgroup is part of the municipal committee, and this group, there is a specific focus on solidarity economy, social and solidarity economy. These municipal committees is composed by citizens, technicians, counselors, and researchers. The format of meetings is online and face-to-face meetings, sometimes adopting equity measures. You have a policy brief that explains this innovating with urban governance based on municipal committees for inclusive net-based solutions. Here, the proposal is the space of participation, intersections between technical decision makers, politicians, and citizens. So final considerations just to maybe to contribute with the discussions, but the question is, could solidarity economy help to more closely reconcile the use of network-based solutions, a more inclusive urban regeneration? Consider the main goal to achieve better living conditions for individuals. The economic inclusion through solidarity economy seems as an effective solution. Help us to review also the multidimensional and intersectional causes behind inequalities and fragmentation in cities, for example, ethnicity, race, gender, socioeconomic status, among others. Also, solidarity economy promotes the adoption of active and reflective stance on issues such as exclusion and on the role of political and private social actors, promotes job creation and wealth generated by the community is thus more likely to remain in the territory. This is very important, and also social currency, for example, or currency, transition currency are examples for that. Several solidarity practices potentialize the intertwining between green solutions and the democratic solidarity economy. Energy cooperatives, short circuits, covered companies, transition currencies, community kitchens, repair shops, among many others, with the support also the local governance and also specific political instruments to promote and to support this kind of solution, and also the academic social incubators, other structure that can help and that can support the implementation of these solutions. One expected outcome of URBiNAT is to implement a roadmap for social and solidarity economy as a promoter to enhance the impacts of network-based solutions, and also to with a lot of contributions for urban regeneration, inclusive urban regeneration. Thank you again for this opportunity, and thank you.
Thank you, Beatriz, for this nice and really interesting talk and a totally different perspective. And I'm really happy that we can discuss this together in these formats. And I'm sure that we will go in detail in the discussions. In our next talk is a video which we get from our colleagues from proGIreg, which unfortunately, for a sick reason, they could not attend today.
Hello, good morning. I'm Bernd Pölling from Fachhochschule Südwestfalen, University of Applied Sciences in Soest, Germany. We are project partner in the project proGIreg, Productive Green Infrastructure on Post-Industrial Sites. So I have to apologize for not being there live, but at least this morning I recorded this short presentation since I'm not able to join you at this lunchtime for the discussion. Sorry for that, but after that meeting, I would be happy to get into the discussion and see what you discussed. So I will take the opportunity to give you a very brief overview of what we are doing in proGIreg with regard to social entrepreneurship. And when I'm talking about social entrepreneurship, I mean that more in a broad sense, since we are focusing on business and organizational models, and some of them are in a way social enterprises or linked to social entrepreneurship. So first of all, I would like to briefly present what proGIreg is about, and then focusing on the work package and specifically the task on developing a business model catalog, and then how it's linked to social enterprises. All right, I will briefly share my screen so that you can see it full screen. And after a quick overview of proGIreg, here we are with in total 8 cities, 4 frontrunner cities, 3 from Europe, with Dortmund in Germany, Zagreb in Croatia, and Turin in Italy, as well as Ningbo as the 4th frontrunner city in China, and then another 4 so-called follower cities, Cluj-Napoca, Zenica, Piraeus, and Cascais. Altogether, we have 8 nature-based solutions in proGIreg. We'll come back to that later, and overall more than 30 partners. I think that's all kind of similar to your project. And here are the 8 NBSs tested in proGIreg. One is on leisure activities and clean energy with a special spatial focus on former landfill sites. Then one which is mainly performed in Turin on new soil, based on materials from deep excavation sites. Then 3 community-based urban farms and urban gardens, which are implemented in the 3 European frontrunner cities, Dortmund, Zagreb, and Turin. In Zagreb and Turin, even with several locations, and also in some follower cities like Cascais in Portugal. Then we have number 4 on aquaponics, circular system of vegetable production in hydroponic system and fish raising. Then number 5 on green walls and roofs as a separate NBS, which is in Zagreb also linked to the aquaponics, NBS 4. Then we have NBS number 6, accessible green corridors, which are implemented in several frontrunner cities to bring community and neighborhoods closer to the green interventions and the NBSs implemented in the cities. Then number 7 is on strategic planning with local environmental compensation processes, which are focused on in Ningbo, Turin, and Zagreb. And then pollinator biodiversity is the 8th NBS, which are implemented in Dortmund and Turin. So coming to the business model perspective, and here we've started with the task of the business model catalog in proGIreg, with this well-known strategic management template from Osterwalder and Pigneur, business model canvas with the 9 basic building blocks. And of course, the purpose of that business model canvas is different to NBSs. So when first talking about the business world, we have the focus on how value is created for the customers and how value is captured for the company. But when we are talking beyond business world, exclusionally, and then also integrating NBSs, we talk not only about customers, but very much also about beneficiaries. We do not only talk about tangible values, but also intangible values created with the development and implementation of NBSs. And then we do not only talk about companies like in the business world, but also on public entities, civil society, small sustainable startup activities, and also the aspect of social entrepreneurship. So based on that, and starting with the existing business model canvas, a traditional one from Osterwalder Ingenieur, several modifications have been developed, like the triple layer BMC or the sustainable BMC, to integrate issues of sustainability, but also in your projects and other sister projects of NBS. We have modifications of the traditional business model canvas, like that one, this one here, or that one. And based on all these existing modifications, we developed for the proGIreg purposes another template consisting of 14 building blocks, which looks quite similar to the traditional ones, but with several modifications and addings. Like in the central part, in the middle part of the BMC, we do not only have the value proposition, but also the governance aspect, which is centrally positioned here and also very important for the social entrepreneurship issue. Then to the right side, we do not only have the customer segments, but apart from that, also the beneficiaries. The left side, the infrastructure side, with the key resources, key activities, key partners, looks very much the same like the traditional BMC. The bottom part, we have 4 building blocks and not only 2 or 3 like in the other BMCs and the modifications. We have the revenue streams to the very right, the cost structure to the very left, and then also issues of financing, so how it's financed when it comes to the implementation of NBS, but partly also the planning and maintenance of NBS. And apart from that, also the issue of cost reduction, since quite a number of NBSs allow to reduce maintenance costs, for example, of green areas. And then to the top part, we added 2 building blocks, one to the right side on positive societal and environmental impacts, and to the left side also on possible negative societal and environmental impacts which might occurring from the NBS interventions. So here we have an overview of the 8 NBSs and in which frontrunner city which NBSs are implemented or carried out. So we see that for NBS 1, we only have Dortmund, for NBS 2, only Turin. Then for NBS 3, the community-based urban farms and gardens, all cities are involved. For the aquaponics, the 3 European ones. For the green walls and roofs, Turin and Zagreb. Green corridors, again for Dortmund, Turin and Zagreb. The strategic planning, NBS number 7 in Ningbo, Turin and Zagreb, and then 2 times again NBS 8, the pollinator biodiversity. So then we conducted interviews with the proGIreg business model canvas template and collect information. Here's the example of a therapeutic garden developed in Sesvete in Zagreb. And with this template, we are collecting the information for each NBS in all the frontrunner cities. And our aim is then to result in a huge list of business model templates filled for each NBS. And then by using different criteria and parameters, we want to see how these different business models are structured and whether we see options for classifying the different approaches of the NBS implementations with regard to business or organizational models. And one way to do that is, of course, the triangle from Pestov with a focus on social enterprises. So this triangle, including the state to the top, community to the left side, and the business world or companies to the right side. And then in the central part, the area where we see the third sector or social enterprises belonging to the third sector. And as one of the tasks, after we will have collected all the information from all NBSs, we want to also use this triangle to see where we have our social enterprises in proGIreg, and also to see where the other NBSs are positioned and whether it makes sense to bring them in future time more towards a social enterprise with all the welfare associated to social enterprises. So to do so, we will of course consider these 3 main dimensions of economic and entrepreneurial to the left side, defined for social enterprises, then the social dimension and also the participatory governance. as criteria to consider organizations and businesses as social enterprises. But that's still a task to do. So as you can see here, we still have a way to go. We are still in the data collection phase, but by end of this month, we will have collected all the information to have an overview with our proGIreg business model canvas template, and then starting the classification. And that will also include social enterprise triangle from Pestov, and then see where we have our social enterprises, like an association, for example, created in Dortmund for the pollinator biodiversity and supporting the city of Dortmund and also private landowners to implement flower meadows in the living lab area in the first, but then also at a later stage, also beyond that living lab in the city of Dortmund. Another example from Turin is Orti Generali, a rental concept for gardens so that residents from the neighborhood can rent small garden parcels and use that to compensate food purchases and also do knowledge and education activities there. But yeah, as I said, it's still work in progress, and we need still some time to do that to get a better picture of the social enterprise. But still, I think it's reasonable to give a short intervention here. And yeah, I'm curious what you are presenting, and I will have a look later on. Thanks a lot and all the best.
Yeah, thank you to the proGIreg colleagues, and I'm sure that based on this, we will have another lunch talk or workshop on this, looking on the results that they are producing in the next months. And to keep a bit of time, I would like to hand it over to the colleagues from Clever Cities. I've seen Martin and Carolina here in the call. And Carolina, you will share the presentation. So yes. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Let me show you. Yeah, I will share, but I will need the helping hand of Martin to share with you some ideas. I'm more involved in the upscaling tasks and not at all in the work package 5 that is more related with sustainable business models definitions, but maybe as Martin, as coordinator of the Clever City project, could help us in and introduce in the discussion some ideas about this business approach. Because in general, as far as you presented the definition of social entrepreneurs, well, of course, in Clever City projects, there have been a lot of social initiatives totally related with the co-creation processes that are like key or are on the roots of the project. And this approach at the end involves new ways of doing, not only in the business file, but also from the public point of view in the procurement processes. That has been very important in Clever also, how the public administration also is innovating in this part of the the value change. So in the procurement process also, some specific conditions can introduce some social values and this social economy approach at the end, So as you may know, in Clever Cities, we are working with 3 front-runner cities: Hamburg, London, and Milan. Each of them have been working. We are in the last year of the project. In 2023 is the last one, and they have been working. They are now finishing with the implementation actions. In the case of Hamburg, as you see in the picture, you have also all this information in the website and in the different deliverables. They have been working in different what we call calls. The call one is, in each city there are 3 calls. Each one is focused on different scales and different approaches. And each one, of course, has delivered different business knowledge, let's say, or social sustainable business model innovations. No, so and as I said, I'm not familiar with all the implementations, but we have been working with the upscaling approach to see which are the more successful experience around each front runner cities around each of the 3 calls they have developed, to see how they impact also in other parts of the cities, and also in the let's say sustainable models value chain, no, at the end. So also there are 6 fellow cities: Belgrade in Serbia, Larissa in Greece, Madrid in Spain, Malmo, Quito, and Santu-George in Romania. We base our approach in our clever exchange topics. It's very similar to other approaches in EdiCitNet and the other sister projects. We base our approach in the NBS typology, also in the planning tools, instruments and methods, in the policy making, and it's also correlated with the procurement processes. Of course, the economic and development strategies related with the financings and the economic activities, and of course the communication and dissemination and awareness, no, of the actions, no. With this, in the case of Hamburg, they highlight an experience in the work done through the biodiverse spots. They have developed several spots around the city. They have mapped with a specific tool the measuring also the impact of these spots in terms of biodiversity, but also social impacts and other environmental impacts. From this, they analyze also, because they have finished the monitoring actions, how this improvements has impact a lot in the community, because something that the 3 cities have in common is the co-creation approach, in which many different stakeholders have been involved, and this is very important. Transfer knowledge from different skills to others, no? Improving these upscaling approaches. The cooperation pathways and the cooperation structures based on the urban innovation partnerships that each city have developed has helped a lot to improve, no, and to extend the impact of the actions, no. Here are some pictures about the results in the city. There are different biodiverse spots in which different communities has been involved. A lot of insects, hotels, also meadows to improve also the landscape, working with the schools and all connected through a corridor in the city, in the neighborhood, that also connect the different solutions from the, let's say, micro scale to the meso scale. I don't know, Martin, if you want to intervene, just go ahead. In the case of Hamburg, also we have been working how to upscale these solutions to the rest of the city, but I don't want to explain, because there are some key points also more related with the social approach, let's say. As I mentioned, the governance and collaboration models have been very important. In this sense, in Hamburg, they have changed the way of working, mainly in the municipal team. They have connect horizontally and vertically with the different departments and level of the administration. So multidimensional and multi-scale collaboration has been held. And this also has improved and break the silos between departments. And that has been very important. And these things also improve the way the public administration also implement the solutions, and also in the procurement process they appeal for other aspects, not only the technical or the economical ones, but also the social and the collaborative approach. In the case of London, they've been working in Thamesmead neighborhood. It's a very big urban regeneration process, and they have developed their own community structures, community designs collective in this case, they call CDC, that has been a bottom-up strategy to include all citizens, all the stakeholders in the procurement process. And maybe I'm very focused on this part because they have improved all of these instruments that sometimes are a big barrier to implement nature-based solutions with this social value. No? Some pictures again with the implementations they have done in the neighborhood. These meadows, also green roofs, different nature-based solutions are along the neighborhood, always working with the community. Again, some specific important or highlights from these experiences. In the case of London, they have been very focused in driving social value to the actions and to the process, using, as I mentioned, this procurement and implementation process as a relationship with the contractors, creating new opportunities of employment with local communities, and also with new approaches to the maintenance of these nature-based solutions after the implementation and after Clever Cities. No? So beyond the project, what happened with these solutions, no? Who's going to take care of them? So there are going to be several guides and methods to empower the communities to take care of their own spaces in collaboration with the public administration. No? It's very important. All this driving social value approach also is aiming to improve the equality and diversity, of course. And at the end, changing the business as usual way of doing. No? In the case of Peabody, that is one of the biggest social housing company in London, they have changed their way of doing, including the residents in their own procurement processes to manage their own spaces, their own neighborhoods, to having a voice, no, in this process, and at the end strengthens a mutual trust between the different entities that are acting in the same neighborhood. No? As I mentioned before, in the case of London, they have developed this community design collective that is a collective decision-making body in which representatives of different stakeholders are working together to define solutions, to solve barriers, and etc. No? So, in the case of, oh, sorry, because this image is in the case of Milano, we are still working a lot in the upscaling approach, but they would like to focus. Well, they have developed different nature-based solutions. They have been working in one call in the development of green roofs in private buildings. Also, they have worked on a specific solution in a train station with a green wall. But in this case, the second call, sorry, is the Giambellino Parco, and they have create a new green area for the neighborhood. And in this case, they are still implementing the solution. That's why we don't have pictures from this implementation. But again, the focus on innovating in the procurement, because at the end they saw that the innovation in the technical solutions are there, but when you want to implement it in this from bottom-up way, and also discussing with the contractors and other stakeholders of these value chains, the problems arise, and there are not specific instruments from the public administration to the external or private stakeholders to implement. And also with these social values inherent to the solutions. So they have been working also for this park and for the other solutions in improvement these things. And this all from my side. I would like Martin to improve my presentation with your insights from the different solutions on the 3 cities. I put this slide for you to just to.
Good. Carolina, looking at the quite advanced time here, shouldn't we put that to the discussion part? I mean, I'm happy to say something there, but
okay, great.
Yeah, thank you, Carolina. Thank you, Martin, for this nice and interesting view, and actually also very complementary to the others. So we have really different approaches, and I would like really to switch directly to Adam from Navolaxhaga, from a social entrepreneur, and he will share some insights from the FoodE project. And then we enter into the discussion.
Thanks so much, Ina. Nice to see you, and nice to see all the EdiCitNet people again. I am here today representing FoodE. For some context, I work with Laura Martinez at Navolaxhaga. We work in Oslo, but today I'm representing the Food Systems in European Cities Horizon project. That project is aimed at creating a holistic approach to developing sustainable city regional food systems with citizen input and with as much collaboration as possible between producers and consumers. As part of that project, we've been working on a specific task that aims to include both citizens and pilots within the FoodE project, aims to include them in measuring sustainability of edible city solutions. So, of course, we got this task like most of us do. Someone else wrote an application. We were handed a task to do something and kind of said, what is the point of this? Why does this matter? How is this actually valuable? It had lots of murmurs of citizen science and participatory design in it, which we all know are sexy boxes to check off in an EU application. But in practicality, why does it matter? This is particularly an important question that we ask quite often at Navolaxhaga, as we ourselves are also social entrepreneurs. So we're quite often thinking from the social entrepreneur point of view when we're conducting research tasks in Horizon projects. So what we decided to do is work with a particular initiative here in Oslo to develop a methodology for doing this that could actually help edible city solutions upscale, grow, become more sustainable through working with citizens to measure sustainability impacts. So we worked specifically with a community-supported beekeeping project run by a friend of Navolaxhaga, Idel Actos. This project includes citizens in all aspects of beekeeping. They pay a membership price in order to be part of that club, and then they get to take home whatever honey is produced during the harvest times. So to begin this process of developing sustainability indicators that could be measured both by Edel, who managed this pilot, as well as by her citizens, her participants in her project, we started having conversations with her around what her specific needs were as an ECS. And some of the things that came up repeatedly were the need to bring in more revenue so that she could get paid a living wage. So in following with that, we began to look at a sustainability, life cycle assessment, kind of sustainability assessment that was developed in the FoodE project, which was much, much more technical and much, much more centered on being publication oriented. We used that to try to narrow down to things that we could measure that could actually potentially create more income for Edel in her project. All this to say, I'll keep this short, but we basically developed a series of questions and discussion items that were then conducted with Edel and with her participants that actually directly impacted her ability to increase the value of her ECS. For example, one of them was centered around the price point of the membership. We asked citizens what they thought about the value they were getting out of the program itself and what they thought fair prices for that value actually were. So all of this is very much inspired by Alice Birchoff and by the diamond model in EdiCitNet, always thinking back to how can everything we do increase value within the ECS. So we're working now to actually put this methodology into more of a handbook form. We'll be training the 14 other pilots in the FoodE project in how to conduct this methodology. They'll be working with researchers to actually develop their questions around how to measure sustainability within their projects, but doing that with the goal of increasing value within their ECS. So as I'll say here, just to be a little more clear, one of the things that we saw early in the FoodE project was a life cycle assessment analysis that measured lots of very technical things such as electricity usage, pesticide usage, these sorts of things. And when we took up this task, we began to ask the question, yes, but how does that actually increase the value of the ECS? How does that knowledge increase the value of the ECS? So in this methodology, we're focusing very much on citizens' understanding, not actually on the actual amount of pesticide use, but what do citizens understand about pesticides? What do citizens understand about how many pesticides the ECS is using? And can we use that to market or tell a story on social media later that can actually create more customers or encourage our customers to pay more fair prices for our products. Yep. So for the sake of time, that is all I will say now. But thanks everyone for the time and for the opportunity.